In talking about educator evaluations, it's easy to get caught up in the discussion of how and lose focus on the why. So as we start a conversation in Michigan on what educator evaluation should look like in our state, we need to remember that our goal is to improve student achievement by having a good school in every community and an effective educator in every classroom, so that all students have the best possible chance to succeed. And we can take a big step down that path by focusing on helping educators to improve. Because we know that although factors outside of the school have the biggest impact on student achievement, inside the school, teachers are the single biggest factor, and administrator quality also plays a big role. We also know that an effective educator can have a huge impact on students compared with an ineffective educator. But particularly when trying to set policy on not just a school-wide, but a statewide scale, it's important to have a high-quality system in place. Because even though most of us may have some notion of what we think effective instruction looks like, and we may also have an idea of what we think ineffective teaching looks like, the real value in a quality educator evaluation system is in helping ineffective teachers to become more effective. But Michigan's current system comes up well short of that goal. We focused a great deal as a state on test data, and although they're useful, tests are a very limited tool. For example, they can tell us that Bob here knows his math facts, but the test might not know the difference if Bob just finds a creative way to remember his math facts. And while a test can tell us that Wendy is well beyond just learning math facts, it can't tell this teacher or any other teacher in his building or his principal what he's doing well, or what best practices other teachers in the building might want to learn. And so as we try and set state policy that will work in all schools, we need to move beyond what we've been doing to evaluate educators so far. Because all we've been doing so far to move the needle on student achievement is to focus on identifying ineffective educators, moving them out of the classroom, and replacing them with better educators. And while that can get us partway to our goal, by focusing only on ineffective educators, we lose sight of the vast majority who are effective but could improve. We also ignore the needs of the students they serve. So if we want to climb to the top in terms of student success, what we really need to do is find a way of not only identifying struggling educators, but intervening with professional development and helping them to be more effective. Because if we do want to climb to the top of the mountain in terms of student achievement, we need to stop focusing on the 4% of ineffective educators we see, and instead take into account 100% of the challenge facing us. That's why MASSP is advocating for a straightforward, 4-step approach to tackling educator evaluations. Step 1 is that the legislature should approve and fully fund the teacher and administrator evaluation frameworks and training recommended by the Michigan Council on Educator Effectiveness. The key to making this part of the system work is going to be ensuring fidelity, appropriate training, and a feasible system. Evaluation and observation tools are research-based and highly tested. In order to ensure you're getting fair, accurate, and usable data from your system, you have to use the tools as they were designed, with fidelity, meaning nothing extra and no missing pieces. For the same reason, the people using these tools need to be well trained. Without appropriate and complete training, evaluators will not be able to do their jobs properly, and that's not fair to either the evaluators or to the people being evaluated. Finally, if expectations aren't feasible, this new system won't last or work well. That's why we need to have simple, workable requirements for the number, length, and spacing of observations. Step 2, the new law needs to give clear, consistent, and flexible criteria for balancing the elements of educators' evaluations. MASSP strongly recommends that teachers be evaluated more on their practice than on student growth. Because it should and will be the single biggest piece of their evaluation, it's important to get the observation frameworks implemented correctly, and districts should be able to adjust their system, within limits, to meet their local needs. The same holds true for administrators. More practice than growth, an emphasis on the evaluation framework, and some local flexibility. For administrators, their skill in evaluating other educators is important enough that it should be its own piece of the pie. Step 3 is to give educators a way to measure year-to-year student growth, something our current system doesn't do. There are many criteria that define the type of assessment tool Michigan needs, but in general, it should be aligned to our standards and goals, give us good and timely information, and not be too cumbersome to administer. Finally, step 4 is to build a statewide database that can house school, student, and staff information. Collecting data on students and teachers is important, but without the right tools, it can be hard to analyze and use that information. Michigan already tracks financial, attendance, and test score data, but the information available to parents, students, and teachers, as well as principals, is pretty lacking. Michigan citizens deserve a data system that can bring all of these important pieces together in one place. And if we can take these steps as a state and finally look at 100% of the situation instead of focusing on the 4%, then we can take a big step forward to achieving our goal of improving student achievement by having a good school in every community and an effective educator in every classroom. And we can do this by focusing on the importance of educator evaluations.